If you're dealing with stubborn belly fat, constant sugar cravings, or you're struggling with your sleep, cortisol might be part of the problem. But cortisol isn't a villain. It's actually a very important hormone. It's the dose that matters. So in this video, I want to explain a couple really important concepts around your stress hormones. And then I want to walk you through 7 hidden stressors that will keep your cortisol elevated and 6 really easy solutions that you can use to get into a better balance naturally. The key is understanding what your body is actually responding to, because high cortisol is not a random event. It's your body adapting to the signals that you're giving it. And cortisol is often referred to as the stress hormone, which makes it seem like a bad thing, but it's not. You need cortisol. It's the main hormone that elevates in the morning, that helps you wake up. It helps you mobilize energy. It helps you respond to stress and regulate inflammation. Ultimately, it helps your body survive and thrive. The problem is when cortisol spikes too often, it stays elevated for too long, or it rises at the wrong times during the day. That's when you start to notice things like poor sleep or cravings or stubborn belly fat or even brain fog and mood disorders. Most people get this wrong, trying to lower cortisol by adding more things, more supplements, more hacks, more routines. But the fastest way to get your cortisol and other stress hormones into a better balance is to identify the following 7 stressors and then use the 6 strategies afterwards to actually solve for them. Most of you watching this aren't subscribed to the channel, so if this is relevant and you want more simple science-backed strategies and breakdowns like this, be sure to subscribe because I release at least one of these videos per week. Let's get into the 7 hidden stressors that most people miss, and we'll start with number 1, which is under-eating. Intermittent fasting has taken the world by storm, and for a good reason. It is a really powerful tool for resetting your metabolism. It's something that tons of my clients utilize to help them regain their metabolic flexibility. But when you're trying to lose belly fat and you're living a stressful life, sometimes this can backfire. When you aggressively cut down on calories, you skip meals, and you're always fighting through hunger, you might assume that that's going to lead to faster progress. But your body doesn't interpret that as discipline. It actually sees that as a stress signal. So when you're under eating and you're dealing with a stressful professional situation, parenting responsibilities, and maybe you're even pushing yourself on exercise, your body still has to find energy somewhere. Cortisol helps with that. It helps mobilize energy that you've stored up so that you can keep functioning. The problem is when you're in this deficit and you're pushing yourself like this for too long, your body's trying to conserve energy. So it'll actually slow down your metabolism. Hidden stressor number 2 is blood sugar imbalance. And this is one of the big ones for energy fluctuations, stress, and cravings. When your blood sugar spikes and then rapidly crashes, your body has to correct for this. And that's exactly why some people feel anxious, shaky, or exhausted just an hour after a meal. I'll often connect with people who are trying to lose weight and they're counting calories, but their breakfast is a coffee with some quick carbohydrates. Rather than giving them steady energy, this is putting them on the blood sugar roller coaster all day. And it's doing something that I often refer to as snapping the insulin rubber band, where insulin spikes high, then drops down below baseline, and it acts like this rubber band you've just snapped all day, leading you to have intense cravings, major energy fluctuations, and feeling like you're just fighting with willpower all day. Hidden stressor number 3 is caffeine at the wrong time. Now, let me be clear. Caffeine is not bad. And if you're starting the day with some high quality dark roast coffee, there's a lot of data to suggest it's protecting your DNA, it's protecting your brain, and even your cardiovascular system. But if you're using caffeine to help push through poor sleep or constant stress or brain fog, it can actually contribute to the problem. You see, cortisol rises naturally starting at roughly 4 a.m. each day. So by the time you wake up and have your caffeine, cortisol is already headed upwards. And for some people, having caffeine on an empty stomach just pushes that up farther so that cortisol reaches an unsustainable level. This is especially problematic when you're using caffeine later in the afternoon as an artificial boost to your energy. If this sounds like you and you feel jittery when you have coffee or caffeine, 2 easy solutions. 1 is to stop having caffeine after 12 p.m. And 2 is to have a small meal that's focused on protein and fat first thing in the morning with your coffee. Hidden stressor number 4 is overworking and undertraining. Most people know exercise is one of the best tools for overall health, for fat loss, for longevity, but the dose matters. If you're doing long bouts of cardio, even if you're just walking or going for light jogs, or you're pushing the intensity in the gym but not sleeping enough, your body is just interpreting that as yet another stressor. It's the equivalent of being at war, where you're always vigilant and you're not recovering enough. Now, this problem is only exacerbated when you're chasing extreme diets or a caloric restriction, or you're just living a very high stress professional and parenting lifestyle. The goal here is not to stop training hard or exercising. It's just to make sure that based on the intensity and the quantity that you're training, you're also balancing that with the quality and the quantity of your recovery, so they're at an equal level. For most people here, the fix is relatively simple. It's trying to remove some technology during the later part of their day so their nervous system can actually wind down, and just making sure they're getting at least 7 hours of sleep. I'm going to give you a bunch more details when we get to the 6 ways you can balance out your stress and cortisol naturally. But for now, let's go on to hidden stressor number 5. This one is not enough low intensity movement. But this isn't for the reason you think. Your metabolism throughout the day, as it's running, is constantly producing metabolic waste byproducts, so toxins that build up in your body. Now, one of the most important inputs that allows your lymphatic system to clear out these toxins is movement. Even when it comes to drinking water and staying hydrated, your body can't shuttle that water to the areas that it needs to go unless you're actively moving. This is the reason that people after a long flight get up and intuitively start to shake out their upper body and their legs. It's because they're trying to move fluid to those areas and remove the toxins that have built up from them sitting too long. So low intensity movement throughout the day, even if it's doing a couple bodyweight squats or stretches every hour or going for a 10-minute walk after meals, this plays a huge role in clearing out these toxins and thus lowering the overall stress your body is dealing with. Hidden stressor number 6 is poor sleep rhythm. Now notice I said rhythm and not just duration. You can be in bed for 8+ hours and not fully recover if your body's not in a good sleep rhythm. As I already mentioned, cortisol and other stress hormones like adrenaline are meant to be elevated first thing in the morning to wake you up, but they're also meant to be suppressed at night so that you can fall asleep and get into a deep sleep. That is a healthy rhythm. But if you're somebody that feels like at the end of the day, you have that tired but wired feeling, chances are you have elevated levels of cortisol and adrenaline. And one of the things that a lot of my clients notice when this happens is they start to wake up earlier than they intend to. So we've covered that cortisol and other stress hormones naturally rise at roughly 4 a.m. to get you up a few hours later. But if you're living at a higher baseline level of stress, the rise in these hormones is going to wake you up earlier. So you might be waking up at 4:30, 4, even 3:30 or 3 a.m., feeling like you're ready to tackle the day, but looking at the clock and feeling frustrated that you can't fall back asleep. And this leads us right into hidden stressor number 7, which is never fully downshifting. This is probably the single most common hidden stressor that I see with people that I work with that are working on a computer all day. Now, you might recognize yourself in this archetype. You're on a computer for most of the day, you're a high performer, maybe you're working in sales, maybe you're an executive. Then when the day's up, you're immediately into parenting mode. You're always checking and pushing and planning and optimizing and fixing. But at the end of the day, you're never actually relaxing. And this is not your fault, by the way. As somebody that spends 8 to 10 hours on a computer every day and has 2 little kids, I fully resonate with this. The problem is, if you don't intentionally give your physiology and your nervous system a chance to downshift, your body is living in survival mode all the time. In other words, you're living with elevated levels of stress hormones, which almost guarantees that you're on the path to burnout. Now for the most important part. Let's go through 6 ways that you can lower cortisol and other stress hormones naturally. And before we do, a quick recap on the 7 hidden stressors that I call the cortisol stress stack. Number 1 is undereating. Number 2 is blood sugar swings. Number 3 is too much caffeine or caffeine at the wrong times of day. Number 4 is an imbalanced ratio of training to recovery. Number 5 is not enough low intensity movement, which leads to poor hydration and poor toxin clear out. Number 6 is poor sleep rhythm, which often manifests as waking up way too early. And number 7 is never fully downshifting. Now let's turn this all into 7 practical ways that you can solve for these naturally. I call these the 6 safety signals. Safety signal number 1 is to eat enough protein. You can easily up your protein intake and still be at a caloric deficit to lose weight. In fact, that's one of the things that surprises many of my clients. They start to eat more and feel more full, and yet the scale starts moving in the right direction even faster. Why? Because protein provides the building blocks, amino acids, that help with muscle building, they help with hormone synthesis, they help with recovery and fat loss. Safety signal number 2 is to stabilize blood sugar by adding fiber to the protein. Now, this is especially important at breakfast and lunch. Anchoring your meals around protein and fiber is going to stabilize your blood sugar and energy, and this routinely leads to clients telling me that their afternoon crashes have disappeared. It might not be sexy, but it is foundational. Safety signal number 3 is to move more throughout the day. And I've already alluded to this a couple times, but one of the easiest ways to do this is to walk for 10 minutes after you eat, or every 45 to 60 minutes throughout the day. You have a timer, maybe you have one of those watches that will buzz, and you just get up and do some leg swings or some body weight exercises, or just move. This helps lower the post-meal insulin spikes. It also helps lower inflammation, and it tells your body that things are safe. Most of my clients dramatically underestimate this, and then they start to see their mood improved, their sleep improved, and most importantly, their waistline dropping. Safety signal number 4 is to prioritize 2 to 3 days of strength training during the week, but to also make sure you're recovering fully afterwards. If you're doing 2 to 3 sessions per week, you're focusing on progressive overload, and you're focusing on rotating muscle groups so that you can recover, you're going to build more muscle. And muscle is your most metabolically active tissue. The clients I work with that get the best results train hard, they get enough protein, but then they also recover. This is how you stay lean and strong into your 60s, 70s, and 80 plus years. Safety signal number 5 is to manage your light intake. It's pretty straightforward. Try to cut down on bright lights at night and try to get bright lights first thing in the day. Morning sunlight within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up is one of the most powerful ways to elevate hormones like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, the hormones that help balance out the other stress hormones. One of my clients who lost over 50 pounds went so far as to say the single most important thing he learned from our work together was getting outside for 20 minutes first thing in the day. Now, safety signal number 6 is to create real recovery moments every single day. This chronic hustle culture that we all live in, by the way, keeps your body in threat mode. And you don't need much to downregulate your nervous system. You just need these micro moments of recovery throughout the day. This is the difference between the executive that looks fit but tired all the time and the one that looks fit and healthy and has an unbelievable amount of energy and vitality. Here are some simple, repeatable ways of signaling safety to your body. Breathing, walking, nature, sunlight, boundaries, pausing, and spending some time off of your phone and other technology. My mission here is not to tell you to eliminate all of your habits. It's to help you understand the impact they have on the dose, the timing, and the context around your stress hormone. A simple way to start this is to pick one of the safety signals that relates to eating or movement or recovery and implement it tomorrow. As I tell all my clients, do not try to overhaul your entire life in 1 week. Start with the highest leverage changes first, build a foundation on those, and only then layer other things on. And if you want more help putting together a simple system that fits your life, you can download my free playbook below that walks through a bunch of core components to nutrition, exercise, stress management, and sleep. These are the same things that helped me lose over 50 pounds of fat, put on another 20 pounds of muscle, and reverse my biological age by over 10 years. Thanks again for being here. Be sure to subscribe if you like this type of content, and I'll see you on the next video.